My friend, His Excellency Ambassador Manoj Bharti, Mr. Sachin Gopalan from IIBF, Ibu Punam Savgar from IIBF, Dr. Bayu Prawirahi as moderator, all distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Assalamualaikum, Namaskar, Shalom, may peace and health be upon us all. First and foremost, I would like to thank Indonesia-India Business Forum, IIBF, in particular, Mr. Sachin Gopalan, for inviting me to give a video message on this timely issue. When the COVID-19 pandemic broke out 3 years ago, much of the world moved online, accelerating the digital transformation that has been underway for decades. At the same time, for financial inclusion, the pandemic became a catalyst that drove a large increase in digital payments amid the global expansion of formal financial services. On living in a digitalized world, our Minister for Foreign Affairs, Her Excellency Retno Marsudi, highlighted, among others, and I quote, "Mobile phone is today's tool. This gadget, together with the Internet of Things, can unite or divide. Digital devices may define the fast from the slow." As President Joko Widodo once said, it is a country with speed that will defeat the slow one, making the latter irrelevant. Our inability to keep up with the technological leaps in this small thing in our hands is what will make us obsolete, unquote. It is with this backdrop, I'm willing to give a remark on an issue that I believe is pertinent in understanding the future world of economy so that we will not be obsolete. Ladies and gentlemen, world leaders have acknowledged the significant role that the digitalization can play in closing gaps in issues with socio-economic impacts, such as stagnating productivity, pressures resulting from climate change, and inequality in access to work and healthcare readiness, to name a few. It is a public knowledge that digital technologies have the potential to boost more inclusive and sustainable growth by spurring innovation, generating efficiencies, and improving services. Digitalization also will transform global economies in the short to medium term, delivering a projected $13 trillion in value across the world by 2030. However, several factors in the roadmap of digitalization continue to impede nations from realizing their full digital potential. These issues include differing levels of readiness and connectivity across regions, poor digital infrastructure, and the lack of relevant policy frameworks to support wider digitalization, and the critical shortage of digital skills needed to support digital transformation, in particular for the micro, small, and medium enterprises, MSME. Let me mention a few examples on Indonesia. Indonesia's 202 million internet users already contributed $70 billion to its digital economy in 2021. At the same time, one of the biggest challenges is that Indonesia is among the world's third largest unbanked population, where around 66% of Indonesia's 275 million inhabitants are currently unbanked. Furthermore, as Indonesia is also home to over 60 million MSMEs, it is sad to note that according to Central Bank of Indonesia, nearly 70% of them don't have access to credit. Therefore, it is vital for Indonesia to focus on fintech and digital banking, as they are expected to provide a new option to access financial services for the underbanked and MSMEs. This, I'm sure, will be discussed by all expert speakers during this event. Ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia and India were among the first in the world to recognize the power of digital transformation in sectoral economics. For Indonesia, as ASEAN's leading producers of decathlon tech firms, valued at over $10 billion, Indonesia has proudly and successfully fostered a thriving international competitive tech scene. Indonesia has emerged over the past couple of years as one of the Southeast region's biggest fintech hubs, home to around 785 fintech companies as of late 2021, Indonesia is currently Southeast Asia's second largest fintech startup community. This company secured 26% of all fintech funding amount across Southeast Asia, second only to Singapore 44%, showcasing the scale and weight it has on the region's fintech ecosystem. Nevertheless, Indonesia still has more work to do in developing financial technology, in particular, the socio-economic elements in advancing the technology. You might know that despite significant progress in the shift towards cashless transactions, cash is still widely used and financial inclusion remains low for individuals and small businesses. This situation relates to what the Financial Services Authority of Indonesia, OJK, highlighted that Indonesia needs to enhance the financial inclusion index, although it has risen to 85.10% in 2022 from 76.19% in 2019. And also the significance to advancing the community's financial literacy index, although it has also increased to 49.68% in 2022 from 38.03% in 2019. It is therefore imperative that Indonesia advance its innovation in this regard. Ladies and gentlemen, many economies, including Indonesia and India, have implemented real-time unified payment systems to help drive economic growth. These systems help stabilize economies by increasing the efficient use of financial resources, decreasing transaction costs, and enabling access to the fast and affordable movement of money across borders. In discussing fintech and digital payment, India, with its unified payment interface, or UPI, is of course an excellent model. According to the 2021 World Bank report, India is one of the countries experiencing the most significant growth with the usage of digital payments. More than 80 million adults made their first digital merchant payments after the outbreak started, while 34% of adults have used their account to make or receive their payment. This number was 28% in 2017. The Reserve Bank of India, RBI, on October 2021 stated that the UPI has increased India's average payment volume of around 50% over the past 5 years, making it one of the world's fastest growth rates. And for that particular reason, this event is significant. As chairman of the Board of Commissioners of the Financial Services Authority of Indonesia, Ambassador Mahendra Siregar, at the 4th Indonesia Fintech Summit 2022 in Bali last November, stated that the fast growth of digital innovation has left all stakeholders, particularly regulators, with no other choice but to develop suitable approaches in following dynamic innovations. In this regard, dialogue needs to be increased, discussions have to be strengthened for all stakeholders to understand what to expect in the way forward. For example, we need to have a conversation on striking a balance between promoting digital innovation and reducing the potential risks that may arise. Ladies and gentlemen, according to Indonesia's foreign policy priorities, economic diplomacy is the first pillar. Now, economic diplomacy becomes more relevant than before. The global economy is entering a new and tougher era. Rising inequality and security challenges are particularly harmful for developing countries, including Indonesia and India. Indonesia believes that putting more countries on a favorable growth path requires concerted international actions. Hence, in ensuring our first priority of enhancing economic diplomacy is achieved, Indonesia focuses on international collaboration. Collaboration on tapping the potential, cooperation in thriving the challenges. With that note, I would like to conclude by commending the IIBF for its initiative to hold this event, offering an avenue to build partnership to advance and enhance fintech and digital payment in both countries. I wish you all a fruitful discussion and thank you for your kind attention. Good afternoon, selamat sore, namaskar.